Hey friends, come on in, take a breath. This is your Cozy Corner, the Generous Pour, and I'm Lori. If you're new here, this space is where we mix budgeting with intention, sprinkle in some peace, and pour into what matters most. And yes, that includes a little mocktail magic because budgeting doesn't have to be all spreadsheets and stress. We do our mocktails every time we cash stuff after our paycheck, so that will be tomorrow's video. I've got my candle lit, my cozy socks on, and I'm ready to reconnect with my money without the chaos. If you've had one of those Mondays where your to-do list gave you the side eye or your inbox haunted your dreams, you're not alone. Let's take it down a notch. This week we're in the waxing gibbous moon phase. You know, that almost full energy. It's a little buzzy, a little jittery. It's like your brain knows there's a lot happening, but it's not quite sure what to do about it. So if you have been feeling a little off or restless, like I have, that's totally normal right now. I've been carrying around this beauty, Amazonite. It's my breath and flow crystal, the gentle nudge I need to stop white-knuckling every decision and just chill. For me, Amazonite helps with the pressure to be perfect, to do it all, to fix it all, to respond to every Gmail instantly. Not doing it, not today. We're in soft momentum mode. So I'm going to tuck this right over here next to my candle and keep it with us during this cash unstuffing. But first, I want to do some real talk. Does anybody else feel like the world's volume has been turned way up lately? The news, the fighting, the financial stress, the day-to-day pressure to hold it all together. It's a lot. Even if you're managing it, it's still sitting on your shoulders. I think sometimes we underestimate how much that background noise weighs us down, and we don't always know what to do with that heaviness. So it shows up in our spending, our eating, our energy, and our relationships. But here's why I do this, why I budget, why I unstuff, why I check in each week. It's not just for the numbers, it's for the nourishment. I reset so I can give more intentionally, live more peacefully, and show up with a little more capacity for the people I love, including myself. So with that said, we're going to jump into my wallet and start my credit card unstuffing. This is how it works. I use my credit card this week. I use my credit card most weeks because that's real life, but I planned for it. So now I'm going to pull that money from my wallet and my overflow binder, which is this one, and move it back to the bank. So what I do with my wallet is, in my wallet, I keep a tracker in the back. And so every time I use my credit card, I keep my receipt or I write it down immediately, what I bought, how much it was, and what category it came out of. And I keep it just tucked in my wallet so I always know what I used, and so that I know in my cash envelopes that money is spent and it needs to go back to the bank to pay my credit card. So what I did is I took my tracker and I put it on an expense tracker so it's easier for me to see, because that's my life now, is needing bigger print. I put it on my expense tracker, and what we will do today is go through my cash envelopes, which I only have one left in my wallet, because what I do with my cash envelopes is as they become empty, I take them out. So the last one that we have in here is my groceries, and we will actually set that off to the side. We might not even need to use it, and we can unstuff that tomorrow when we get paid. But I'm going to open up my overflow binder. I'm going to put this over here. I'll put my groceries there in case we need it. And this is my overflow binder. And it's got all the categories that I have in my wallet in here. And so each week when I have money left over, I put it in here so that I can pull out. I'm not generally walking around with a huge amount of money. But when my envelopes are empty, I tuck them into my overflow. So here are all my wallet envelopes, my cash envelopes, but they're empty. You can see there's nothing left in them. So let's get started. My first purchase, I'm going to scoot this over a little bit. Actually, let's count this. and see what we have to take back to the bank. So 425. So we have $1,228 going back to the bank. So I'm going to write that right here. $1,228 going back. That's what we should end up with at the end of this cash unstuffing. We hope. So let's go to my Costco envelope, and we're going to pull out 400, 100, 200, 300, 400. So 400 is going back to the bank. This is the part where people start to spiral and feel like they messed up. But what you're doing right now is you're keeping a promise to yourself about your budget. And so even though you used your credit card, you're still going in here and putting all this money aside. So it's going to be deposited into the bank, and so you can pay your credit card fully. That's a powerful promise that you kept to yourself. But if you went over budget this week in some of your categories, you're still good. You're still on track. We will unstuff this together, get back on track. No guilt trips, no lectures, just redirection. Every week is a fresh start. So now I've taken out $400. I'm going to check it, and I'm also going to highlight it. It's just sort of a double protection that I've taken it out of my wallet, and so that I know that this money, because what I could end up doing is if I don't unstuff it, I could think I have all of this cash still left in my cash envelopes and spend it. And that's not what I want to do. It's sort of like a double dip. So now we're going to go to Pearl. This is for Pearl's food. I am going to put $25 in here. So we have that. Buffer. So this week my phone decided to die, and I had to get a new phone, and I don't know if you guys have gotten a new phone lately. I'm actually going to do the 220s and the 25s. But they are expensive. Man, so I had to get some new accessories, which they don't come with anymore. Phones don't come with chargers anymore, which is surprising. So I had to spend on that. So I actually spent more than what was in my personal, and so I split it with my buffer and my personal spending, which is a-okay because you budgeted for that. So don't feel bad when you have to go into your buffer. So my Lori envelope needs 50. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to put this back in here. You're going to see at the end that I think I used almost all of my money in my personal spending. It was a pretty spendy week. Grocery is going to get 88. So grocery is going to get 50, 70, 80, 5, 86, 87, 88. So groceries is going to get 88. So now let's make sure that we have the correct amount. So grocery has 50, 70, 85, 86, 87, 88. And I did not get change out of the bank before I did this unstuffing. I recommend that you might get a little bit of change or keep some ones handy. This is working out for us, but sometimes it doesn't, because you need to break bills in your, when you unstuff. It's not likely that you have exactly the same amount. So dining out looks like 95 and 40, so that's going to get 135. So we're going to get 135. So we have, I'm going to take out 140, so 140, and I'm going to take a 5. So now dining out has 15 in the overflow. And I'm going to check off these two. a little tight. Now I'm going to go to Lori, and this is when I take out a big amount of money. I had a wallet fix. The zipper of a wallet that I really love had to be fixed, and it came back from repair. $300, which was a lot of money, but I really loved it. So $300, and then $5 I got a phone case, not a case, but a handle, wristlet for my phone. So $305. So 1, 2, 3, 5. So 100, 300, and 5. Again, this was a Lori. It was a Lori last week. A lot of Lori purchases, so I did the 5 too. And that's okay. You know, some weeks you'll spend on yourself, some weeks you won't, and that's what your overflow is for. Date night is going to get 65, so we're going to go into date night. So date night is going to get 50, 65. We'll put this back in here. So 50. 50, 65. Let's highlight that. And then my last category is business. And that's going to get 110 back to the bank. I got some binders. I bought a couple of binders, well, and a wallet. So I'll have to pay myself back for that. So 50, 70, 90, 110. Yep. 50, 70, 90, 110. So 50 and 320s. Well, that unstuffing went pretty well. We didn't have to go into my wallet, my grocery for my wallet. I technically have one more day to use this money because tomorrow we get paid and I will be taking it out and putting it back in here, whatever is left in here. So I will actually tuck this back into my wallet since we didn't use it. I wasn't sure if I was going to go over in my grocery category or not. And then I will close this up. We are finished with this. Put this off to the side. But let's count and make sure that we have $1,228. So we'll put our calculator back here. So 1, these are really nasty 5s. So that matches perfectly. $1,228. I mean, it wasn't super complicated because I wasn't mixing change and starting with money and all of that stuff. So I would have really had to mess that number up. So that is good. This now is going to go back to the bank so that we can pay the credit card that we used. So I'm going to put this off to the side. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to clip this. I usually clip this. I put it in my finance binder because I like to sort of understand what I spent and where our money went. I'm going to put my calculator off to the side. So I'll keep this over here. And then we're going to open up our dashboard. I already took this out of my binder. There's the 3 rings. This is the Generous Week dashboard. And I love this part. It's like opening up a window and letting some fresh air into your week. This week I'm asking myself what's working in my routines, what's weighing me down, where can I pour more peace? And my word for the week is nourish. I want my choices food, money conversations to feel like they're feeding something good. Um, this isn't about perfection. This is about practicing awareness and adjusting gently. Every week is another chance to align. So what I like to do is start my week going through the 6 categories, and sort of reflecting on my last week. So this week, my goal is to do something kind without anybody asking. If you looked at my last meal planning video, this is an important part of my week. It really sets the tone, and helps me just get through it. Just I'm not caught on a Wednesday or a Monday night without sort of this big meal planning. Is dinner every single day is a big decision, and it takes up a lot of your energy. And so when you meal plan, it kind of takes that off the table. And then Easter is Sunday, so I just meal planned for Monday through Thursday. I have some kids coming home from college on Friday, so we'll probably order out, and then Sunday is Easter, which obviously I've already planned for as well. My weekly intention this week is progress over perfection. I think that we get caught up in trying to be perfect and trying to do these things. I have a group of girlfriends that we meet once a week, and we rotate houses. And if we waited for everybody's house to be clean and perfect and the right furniture and the right everything, we would never get together. And we get together every single week, and we play games, and we have such a good time. And I don't remember, if someone had a napkin on the counter or anything like that. I just remember that I had a good time with my friends. So remember that perfection is a big enemy. It's good to strive for, nice things and doing your best, but perfection can sometimes be overwhelming. And then after going through my cash envelopes, I think one thing this week moving forward, I want to watch my impulse buying. A friend of mine sent me a text yesterday and said, Target is, doing this and you should look at it. And it was like, I didn't need anything. It wasn't in my budget. And old Lori would have been like, oh, I'm going to run to Target and I'm going to go get all these things that I don't need. But when you're intentional with where your money is flowing, it's easy to watch your impulse buying. So I'm going to really keep an eye on that this week. And my self-care, it is spring break week here in our town. So I'm going to have some lunch with my friends. I'm going to play some Mahjong, which we are loving. I love playing it. It's works on my brain and helps me, get together with my friends every week. And we chat and we just it really fills my cup. So this self-care is really about filling your cup, and making sure that you are in a good place. And then upcoming purchases, Easter Sunday, which I've been cash stuffing my Easter envelope. So I'm going to take that envelope and when I grocery shop this weekend, I'm going to use that for that, and Easter baskets for my kids. And so this is great because I obviously knew this was coming. And so when you put a little bit into it every week, it really makes a difference when you go to spend it. So I'm very excited about that. And then I'm going to be having some lunch with friends. Like I said, it's Easter week. So I've got some time and it's nice because I'm building community this week, and I'm doing things for myself, which again I really love. So anyway, this is my dashboard. It helps me set the tone for my week, and kind of puts it in perspective that it's going to be a good week, or I'll try to make it a good week. But anyway, that is going to wrap it up. If you're still here, thank you. Truly, you're part of a little movement, one that says we can build a budget with kindness, we can give without fear, and we can build a life that feels peaceful even when the world doesn't. I'll see you Tuesday for paycheck number 3, cash stuffing for April. And we will have a fresh mocktail and a new round of intention setting. Until then, take care of your energy and pour something lovely into yourself tonight. You deserve that much and more.